to start to its a topic known as ecological concept. Alright? Now, let's know what we really want to do here. Ecology concept on its own is a very wide topic. In fact, ecology on its own is a wide topic, okay? And at that point, you need to understand that we need to take it in a more step-by-step and in a detailed manner, all right? And then one thing I'll make you understand is that we're going to go straight to the point, what you need to know, what you need to understand about the topic, where the questions do come up from, what they actually do ask. Do you understand me? And that is where we're going to directly. So we're going to start with the definition of ecology, okay? The definition of ecology. The definition of ecology. All right? Apart from the definition of ecology, we'll talk about the terms. It's from the terms you will get to understand what ecology is really all about. Okay, the terms. And then from the terms, I'll take it into the major things you need to understand in that place. Are we good? Now follow me now. Let's roll together. Let's roll. All right, so if you're going to define ecology on yourself, ecology, one thing you must know is that ecology itself is basically talking about how man react or interact with his what? Environment. Now, when we say man, then, or you can say how living organism interact with their what? Environment. Do we get it? How living organism interact with their environment. That is the major thing. How living organism interact with their what? Environment. Now, one thing you need to get is this. If it says how living organism interact with the environment, living organism has to do with both plants and what? An animal. Are we together now? Both plants and animal, that's what living organism has to deal with. Are we good? So there are two major branches of ecology that you should get. It's like a branch. If we want to study one species or one living organism and its environment, one living organism and its environment, then I'll basically call that study what? Ecology. That branch I want to do is called ecology. Ecology. Are we together now? It's called ecology. Anytime you want to study just a species with its environment, okay, we call it what? Ecology. Example, I want to study zebra and the what? And the grassland. All right, grassland or savanna. Are we together? The grassland or savanna. Are we good? So I'm studying zebra, which is the species. Its environment is the grassland or what? The savannas. That's all I'm interested in is who? Zebra and is what? And its grassland. So study of one species in relationship with its what? Environment. Are we together now? Great, great. That is one branch of ecology. The second branch of ecology, you call it synecology. Synecology. What is synecology saying? I want to study two or more species. Okay? If you want to study two or more species, and how they relate with the environment, then we have to talk about synecology then. That we got to be interested in synecology. Are we together? But in all of this, ecology is still saying we want to study living organism and its what? Environment. If you check these two guys, is either you study one species with its environment, this one is two or more species with their what? Environment. They are all tied under what? Ecology. So let's go now. If I ask you what is ecology, or you see it in Jamb, you know it's objective, obviously. What they will ask, the study of man and his environment is ecology. If they ask that, the relationship between man and its environment, relationship between man and his environment is still also what? Ecology. But the minute they take it down and say, we want to define want to study one species, or let's say the study of zebra and the savannah, then answer, it's not my ecology, it is what? Ecology. Or maybe I say I want to study the termite and the squirrel living on the trees. Living on the trees while one is living inside the trees. I'll say, oh, since it's termite and then the squirrel, and then they're talking about the trees now, then I'll say, okay, it's an ecology. Or maybe they talk about, oh, okay, birds. They're talking about different birds, and they find themselves to live on the trees. We say, okay, they're talking about ecology. Straight to the point. Are we good? All right. Now let's move on. For us to understand this topic to the brim and to the best of your knowledge, for you to get good grades, when they ask you any question on this ecology, the first thing you have to understand is you need to know your terminologies. And basically on the terminologies, we use it to explain everything we need to explain. The first terminology I'm going to talk about today is what we call environment. Environment. I'm going to call it what? Environment. Environment. Number one terminology, environment. What is an environment? Anybody? Anybody going to tell me what's an environment? Environment. Now, look at your surrounding. Your surrounding, where you occupy. I can remember I was asking a student, I said, what's an environment? The student said, my house. My house is your habitat. House is different from environment. Environment has to do with where you occupy, okay? Your surrounding. But habitat means anytime, any day I come, this is where I must meet you. That's your habitat. The natural dwelling place of a living what? Organism. We'll get to that. I'm just trying to say what the person said, the other student said. He said, my house is environment. No, an environment is a place where a living organism is occupied, or an area that organism actually occupy, and is affected by a lot of factors. Okay? The organism is affected by a lot of factors. For instance now, the organism is affected by a lot of factors. For instance, pests and diseases affect an environment. And when the pest and the disease affect an environment, it means that whoever that stays in that environment will be affected by that pest and diseases. So when you ask them what are the factors, obviously the pests and diseases that affect the environment. Number two, the prey and predator relationship. Prey. The prey and predator relationship. The prey and predator relationship. The first one I said pest and diseases. Pest and diseases. Pest and diseases. Pest and diseases that affect the what? Environment. Pests and diseases that affect the what? Environment. Prey and what? Predator. Now let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. If I'm to ask you, a lion and a goat over here, who's the predator and who's the prey? The lion and the goat, who's the predator, who's the prey? Anybody? The lion and the goat, what's the prey, what's the predator? Obviously, you tell me goat here is a prey, and a lion here is a what? Is a predator, right? But what if we say lion and man? Lion and man. Lion and man. Lion and man. What's the prey? What's the predator? Let me hear your point. Lion and man. What's the prey? What's the predator? Man is what? Predator. The lion is what? Prey. Correct. Good. I love that sense. That makes sense because nobody should think that a lion is the predator and the man is the prey. No. A man at this point is the predator while the lion is the what? Is the prey. The lion could be king in his own jungle, but the man still got more dominion over the what? The lion. All right? Good. Now, the next one is, the next factor that affects the environment still has to do with the food they eat. So, basically, 4 factors I mentioned is that, I said, 3 factors I mentioned: prey and predator relationship, pests and diseases, and the food they what? They eat are the things that affect the what? The environment. That is the first terminology you need to follow. The prey and predator relationship, the pests and diseases, the food in which they eat. Good. That takes that. Now, let's go to the second guy. The second terminology, we call it the biosphere. The biosphere. Now, listen. The biosphere is called the living portion of the world, of the earth. Or they call it, that is the part where life actually existed. The living portion of the earth, or the part where what? Life actually existed. But this is one thing we must tend to understand. When you are asked that the functional unit, the largest unit of ecology, all right? The largest unit of ecology is the biosphere, while the smallest unit of ecology is ecosystem. Because they've always been asking this, they'll say, okay, the largest unit of ecology, that means what sum of this whole ecology of a thing? Answer is the biosphere, because the biosphere is where life actually existed. This is the part of the earth that life is contained, or this is the portion of the earth that life is existing from. So that is why the biosphere is the largest unit of the ecological system, while the ecosystem is the smallest. Please don't forget that. The one thing you must also know is this, that the biosphere is divided into 3. We call it the lithosphere. Then we also call it the what? The hydrosphere. And the last one is the what? The atmosphere. Now, the lithosphere is the solid portion of the earth. Solid portion of the earth. This one is the liquid portion. And this is the gaseous portion. Now, one thing you must know is out of these 3, all living organisms are found here. All of them. Living organisms are found here. But the one that has the highest amount of living organism, the answer is what? Hydrosphere. It has 70%. 70% of living entities. 70% of living entities is found within the hydrosphere. 70. It's found within the hydrosphere. Now follow this. One thing you must try to also get here is this, that you see this atmosphere that it says the gaseous part, it consists of what we call the stratosphere, the thermosphere. The stratosphere is where we find our ozone layers. The thermosphere is the part that consists of more of heat. But majorly what they ask in exams is just this guy. 1, 2, 3. Your focus attention should be here. Solid portion, lithosphere, liquid portion, hydrosphere. And then the atmosphere is the gaseous portion, the one that envelops the gases. Are we good now? Now watch this. Watch this. Now, if you understand the biosphere, then I give you a license then to talk about this brother. If the biosphere is well understood and the environment is well understood, then that brings us to the license to talk about this brother called what? The habitat. Habitat. Now, let's break this down. Now, the habitat itself is saying it is the natural dwelling place of a living organism. The natural dwelling place of a living what? Organism. Look at it. Natural dwelling place. If you don't put this word, if you write in Waec, if you don't put this word, especially natural, you're gone. The mark is gone. Now, for you to understand, look at this. If I go into the wild, there's 100% possibility that I'm going to find a lion, I'm going to find a cheetah. But if I go to Lekki and Lagos and the Highland, if I go to Lekki, there's no possibility that I'm going to find a lion there. The rat that lives in people's house is not his habitat. Where is the habitat of a rat? A dirty place or within the bushes. So, your own habitat, it's your house. Anytime, any day, you will always revolve back to your house. When you go out, you go back, where you're going to lay your head is your house. That's your habitat. It's your comfort station. It's your comfort zone. So that's the place you're going to be. So when somebody say, I'm going to look for you, they know that they're going to your habitat. Where is your habitat? Your habitat is where you dwell when nobody's going to have issues with you. Are we together now? So please, next time don't be saying, habitat is a place where people live. No, a natural place. A natural place. A natural dwelling place of an organism. Now, another thing you must correct, we don't have 3 types of habitats. We only have 2. 2 types of habitat. Let's correct the notion. We only have 2 types of habitat. Let's go. I could take this off. Or let me use here. We only have 3 types of habitat. And that 3 types, look at it. We have aquatic, and we have the terrestrial. So that you can see it, you can view it well. Let me bring it down here. Aquatic, terrestrial. Now, follow me. Aquatic is divided into 3. Number 1, we got fresh. Number 2, we got what? Marine. Number 3, we got estuarine. Now, why is it called a freshwater habitat? Now, this is a type of habitat whereby they don't have the characteristics of salt. Now, when you get to this habitat, when you get to this water body, which is called a freshwater habitat, which is type of aquatic habitat, if you get to this water body, the only thing, when you taste the water, it's never salty. Do we get me? It's never salty. And one of the major characteristics of this freshwater habitat is that it has no salinity, some people say low or no salinity. And you've seen this. A good example is your streams. River, okay? Stream, river, some specific ponds. Stream and river are attached to what? The freshwater what? Habitat. But if we talk about ocean, You're talking about what now? Marine. Marine is the habitat that has the high level of salinity. High level of salinity is found within the marine habitat. Okay? Then, the estuarine is the mixture of both fresh water and what? Marine habitat. All right. So, I want you to reiterate after me. The two types of habitats, we've already said it. I'm going to reiterate what I've said. We have aquatic and we have what? Terrestrial. Now, under the aquatic, we got fresh water, we got marine, and then we also have estuarine. Now, the fresh water, a good example is your streams and rivers, marine, oceans, and seas. The sea is also an example of the marine habitat. Also, the estuarine is a mixture of both fresh water and what? A marine. So meaning it's a mixture of what? Now, one of the things you should ask is this. That one of the main characteristics that must come up here is that it's a fluctuating one. The salinity will be fluctuating. Why? Why will it be fluctuating? It's very simple. What will make the salinity to fluctuate? Very simple and direct. It means that this salt will have an higher level and then to also have a lower level based on what? The season. Now let me ask you this. Dry season, wet season. So I want to ask you a question. Follow me now. During rainfall, now I'm asking the question as well. I expect a reply from you guys. During rainfall in such an habitat, during rainfall in this kind of habitat, and they say it has a fluctuating what? Salinity. During rainfall, what will happen to the level of the salt? Will it be high or low? Anybody? Anybody to give me an answer? During the rainfall, will the salinity be high or low? Anybody? If rain is falling, and then we get to this water body, and then rain is added into this water body, what happens to the salt? The level of salt, obviously, it is going to go what? Low. Correct. It's going to go low. But during the dry season, since we don't have any mixture of water into it, then what happens? The salinity will increase. So the basic characteristics here is that they have a fluctuating what? Salinity. And there are a lot of what? Debris in this water. Debris in this water. A lot of debris is in this water. And then that is why they call it brackish. Brackish. It has the characteristics of being what? Brackish because of the lot of what? Debris. Are we good? Now, so again, habitat, two types, aquatic and terrestrial. Under aquatic, we got freshwater, marine, estuarine. Example of freshwater, we got streams, we got rivers. Then for marine, we got oceans, all right? After oceans, we also, I also said that we got seas. Then in the terms of estuarine, is a mixture of both fresh water and marine water. Then I tend to tell you that the level of salinity in the estuarine fluctuates based on the season, the dry season and the wet season. Any question? Any question, anybody? I believe the silence means no question. All right. Then let's move on to this big brother here, the terrestrial.